Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to a fantastic night of racing ahead of us here at Monday Night Lights for round 10 of the Skip Barber series, brought to you once again live and exclusively by RRTV. I'm your host, Alex McKellar, and joining me once again is Mr. Tim Awimmer, aka the Golden Stig. Tim, looking like a big night of racing ahead, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me tonight. We're at the home of Zandvoort, roughly about 30 kilometres west of Amsterdam, where we've got beaches and a racetrack in the dunes, and this is going to be a great little race here. Voted as one of the top tracks in Holland, so this is going to be a really exciting racing. It'll be jam-packed on this club track.
Absolutely. Interesting club layout here tonight, folks, and if I can just get our sound kicked in, there we go. Interesting layout here tonight, just the 7 turns. Interestingly, iRacing have put this up as only a 13-lap race, so we're not looking at a very long race, very much a sprint race here tonight. But I tell you what, a field and a half has shown up here tonight, folks. We're looking at once again the highest strength of field of the week. We've got a strength of field of 3,940 odd here, eclipsing the previous best by about 300. For those of you at home that don't know, the strength of field is based on roughly the average skill rating of all drivers in the server. It's iRacing's matchmaking system, and it determines the not only the strength of field of the race as it's known, but also what's on offer here tonight. So big points, big I rating, and very exciting racing, Tim.
Oh, look, it is fantastic. And yeah, with this strength of field, I'm looking at some of our drivers out there tonight, and they've brought out all the big guns. Enzo Cantar, who hasn't been racing for a few weeks, is back tonight. We've got Mikko Nassi. The qualifying's getting underway, and we've got Tim Hendrickson, a local Dutch boy. He seems to be leading the qualifying at the moment. He's just been taken out by Bill Fraser. Our number 2 driver in the overall Monday Night League points has now taken the first position at the moment while qualifying still continuing.
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. Speaking of the points, let's take a look here, folks. We're up to round 10, of course, so week 9 is where we've got to at the moment. The top 3, Håkon Grebstad leading the way, Bill Fraser chasing hard behind, coming through with plenty of race wins this season, of course, and Les Peck, the first of the second split regulars, Team Venom Racing, teammate of yours, Tim. He's rounding out your top 3.
Yeah, that's a fantastic effort by Les. Really good to see a second split driver be up there in the points. Now, if we look at Håkon and Bill Fraser, our top 2 drivers, at the moment there's about 41 points difference with Håkon leading, but the drop rounds are going to come in, and at the moment I'm looking at my drop rounds a bit in the future here, and I've got Bill Fraser up by about 12 points. So Håkon's going to really need some good position tonight. He needs to be in the top 2 or 3, and Bill to be a little bit down lower in the order so he can bridge that gap.
Yeah, absolutely. It's making a quite interesting chase towards the late part of the season. Of course, Håkon, very much a regular, and he's on track again tonight, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, he's out there. If I pull him up now, he's still circulating here. He's done what so many need to do to be competitive here in this series overall. Of course, this is hosted in the official series of iRacing, but Monday Night Lights is a series on the side that we run based on the results of this split every night. Try and add a bit of extra colour and flavour to the racing, and turning up, finishing consistently. That's the way to get ahead in this one, and Hawkon's certainly doing that, Tim.
Yeah, definitely. And as you say, jump in every week, get in there on the Monday nights every week, and you'll find yourself up the top there of the ladder. As we look at, I'm just looking back at the times that have been set. Now, this is some exceptionally fast driving tonight on this track. From position 1 so far down to position 15, we're all in the 109s. This is going to be some very, very close racing tonight.
Yeah, look, the whole field down to car 17 is split by 8 tenths. This is a really short, fast lap here, about a minute 9, sub-minute 10 second, minute 10 lap. Combine that with the high standard of driving, and you've got some incredibly close times. I don't think I've ever seen a field separated by such a small margin, Tim. As I might just jump to the starting grid before we let the guys get underway. Bill Fraser taking out pole tonight with a 109.2. Fantastic effort from Bill, looking to stamp his authority on the race early. Surprisingly, Jamie Simonet, I've seen him a couple of times in these races, was not expecting him to be that far up the order. Congratulations to him in P2. Miko Nassi, one of, if not the premier Skippy driver in the world, P3. Great to see Miko back out on track. Tim Hendrickson stamping his name all over the Skippy series in recent times in P4. Teemu Vaskalampi, another driver from Finland, fantastic to see him here. Enzo Cantor making a welcome return to the series in P6. Ben Snell leading the Aussie charge in P7. John Scholz, naturalised Aussie in P8. Team Venom Racer, of course. Sasha Berger in P9. Christian Bug in P10. Håkon Grebstad, current series leader, all the way down in 11th. Said he struggled a bit with this track this week. Johan, apologies, Johan, I can't pronounce your last name, from France in P12. P13, Tom Barry becoming regular in the Skippies, of course, in P13. Gustavo Conde, another regular in the Skippies in P14. Kevin Henderson, stalwart of Monday Night Lights in P15. Russell Clark, Go Team Milo in P16. P17, and rounding out your field is Andreas Fourie. Apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly, Andreas. And he rounds out your field of 17 tonight as they prepare to get underway. Just quickly, if we've got time, we are here at the club layout of Circuit Zandvoort here. 13 laps, as I said, very short track time, very short track lengths, only 33 kilometres, nearly 20 k's down on what you would normally expect to see. 38 degrees on track, that's the key figure. I was expecting to see slightly quicker times here, but the track temps have kept them honest, Tim.
Yeah, it definitely has. But I mean, look at on such a small track. These are quite good times, and I think we're just about to get underway.
Absolutely, lights are red. The revs are rising, as they say, and green flag and underway, folks, as we kick it off here. And it looks to be a pretty clean start so far, with the front of the field all crabbing over to the right-hand side, looking to defend the inside, get what draft they can as they spread out now on the way into turn 1. Can they all get through jumping further down the pack? A lot of 2 and 3 wide there. Håkon forced to the right of the outside of the track there through turn 1, but everyone manages to get through cleanly thus far, Tim.
Yeah, no, I'm looking from the blimp, and it's looking quite good at the moment. It's good, clean racing. There's, 2 wide, as you said, but it seems like we're getting through. And if I've got it right, it looks like Bill Fraser's just opening a little gap there. Not that a little gap will mean much on this track. It's quite short, and they'll get the draft up the straight. But he is starting to open a little lead there.
Yeah, look, I saw a small bit of contact there between Tim Hendrickson and Miko Nassi, but nothing consequential there. Line astern, this whole field up towards the closing stages of lap 1. Fantastic effort as they come around this sweeping double apex. Few of the cars running wide there. Looks like Scholzy, Mr. John Scholz, might have gone a little wide, although I have mistaken him. I don't think it was John in the end, but everyone's managed to get through cleanly as they race down this straight at the end of lap 1, Tim.
Yeah, fantastic on lap 1. Oh, I'm just watching Tim Hendrickson trying to go up the upside. Look like Miko Nassi. Looks like he might have made that move as they come into the next turn. No, he's just backed out a little bit. He's going to let Miko have the line there.
Yeah, sensibly backs out of it there in that third gear, right-hander now, turning through this tight apexing corner here. Oh, a bit of contact there. Håkon looks like he might have got a touch in the rear there. Might jump back and see what happened there, Tim.
Yeah, just obviously missed that one, but hopefully you've caught that on the replay.
Yeah, just hopping in there now. Håkon coming into this the tight left-hander now. This tight apex looks like he's got a little touch in the rear potentially from the 10 car of Christian Bug. Just turned him a little bit. Of course, we know the rear of these cars is very fragile, but looks like he's been able to continue on okay, Tim.
Yeah, and look, I'm just looking back here. When I thought that Tim Hendrickson was trying to make a move, then pulled out, it looks like he's actually got a bit of damage. He's dropped right back in the field. So obviously he's pulling into the pits. No, he's actually avoiding the pits, so he's going to try and stay out. quite surprising, even though he's dropping so many positions.
Yeah, looks like we missed something while we're looking at the replay. I don't know if Tim picked up a slowdown. I can't see any damage. Might try and get a bit of a tighter shot there. Looks to be all wings intact. The car, maybe if we hop on the gyro and see if he's steering straight there. Looks like he's tracking okay. Perhaps potentially made a bit of mistakes. He cuts under Russell Clark there through that tight left-handed complex as they go into this. This is where they turn onto the club layout here, folks. It's very different to the full layout here. Double sort of sweeping right-hander now as they come into this very awkward chicane, Tim.
Yeah, look, and with this tight little circuit, it makes for a very challenging drive. This circuit is well known for being a challenging circuit, and so trying to keep your lines right, get those tight corners perfect, is going to make a really good drive tonight. If you can get that right, your lap times are going to be very quick, and as we see, Jamie Simone is, Bill Fraser now has set the fastest lap with a 109.046.
Tell you what, very impressed with his front three, particularly with the likes of Bill Fraser and Jamie Simone. We know what Miko Nassi brings to the table. Excellent skippy driver, fantastic pace, unbelievable pace over the course of a race. Very short race here tonight, but Bill Fraser's putting it to him. I don't know if Jamie's playing a defensive game or what he's trying to do here, but Miko, no doubt, well, he doesn't have much time to bide here. Such a short race, as we said. He'll be trying to do, I imagine, whatever he can. Bill Fraser really said to get wide in front. Well, oh, hang on, that's a terrible camera angle. There we go. Bill Fraser really sending it wide in front, trying to maximise every single part of this track. Interestingly, you can use a lot of the extremities of this track and get away with it, and certainly Bill doing that tonight too.
Oh, definitely. I was clinching a little bit there as he went out wide into the dunes, and I thought, oh no, this could be the end. But obviously he was trying to pick that for his line, and it didn't affect him too much. And he is breaking away a little bit on the second and third position, and they're all trying to get into his draft, and he's moving across to move out of that draft as we head into the first corner. He's taken a really nice line there, and he'll accelerate well out of this just to keep that gap there.
Yeah, look, fantastic drive out of that final couple of left-hander, right-handers to come onto the front straight there from Miko Nassi. Pulled right alongside Jamie Simone, who went searching for the draft of the speedy Bill Fraser in front of him. But Miko Nassi showing a great deal of patience here, perhaps looking for the later stages of the race to take over. Meanwhile, in the second pack, we've got Enzo Cantor, got a slight break over, I hear some contact in the background, was it?
Yes, we've lost Timu. Timu had an accident and he's now left the track.
All right, just jumping back to a replay to see if we can't find what happened to Timu there. Oh, he's already had the incident there. Maybe we'll drop back a bit further if we can, see what happened. So he's driving okay there and seems pretty clear. Oh, he's run into the back, or no, he's been hit by, it looks like it might have been the 11 car there, which of course is Ben Snell, and that's really damaged Timu's rear wing there, and he's obviously copped a bit of suspension damage at the same time. That's not Ben Snell's go, that would have been purely accidental, but very unfortunate for both Timu and the race overall, Tim.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a shame there for Timu. He looked to be doing quite well, but as we get back onto the lead pack, we've had a change with Miko Nassi now moving into second position, just behind Bill Fraser. Got Jamie Simone along the straight, so now it's going to be the Bill and Miko race at the moment.
I'll tell you what, I'm licking my lips with anticipation now as Miko's made that passing move stick while we were away looking at the unfortunate incident with Timu. Look at him already climbing all over the back of Bill Fraser. This is where we find out what sort of mettle Bill Fraser's got. We know he can throw the car around. We know he's got great pace. What can he do with the pressure of the likes of Miko Nassi right on his exhaust pipe here? The previous lap, Miko got, or the previous two laps, Miko's got a fantastic drive out of that. Look at that. Not compromising his racing line at all here with the defensive Bill Fraser shooting straight over to the right-hand side of the track there to defend the turn one. It'll be interesting to see what Miko does from here, Tim.
Oh, geez, that was interesting coming up to turn one. But I think looking at this, Miko's just playing his part here. He's just going to sit in second position, it looks like, and wait for that right manoeuvre on Bill. I'm pretty sure Bill hasn't had much competition to be fair, when we've raced a lot of these circuits. And now Miko's right on his tail, and I think that's going to put an added pressure on Bill for this afternoon.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what I saw in the distance while we were watching that front pack is a battle pack led by Håkon Grebstad in P7. He's on the front of about, well, it's most of the field, to be honest, all the way back to, looks like Tim Hendrickson Kevin Henderson in P14. So we've got 7 cars in this tight circuit. Look at them, they're line astern. You could barely fit 7 cars in that space, Tim.
It's amazing. I've just dropped back to that pack, and yeah, that is an amazing train that we've got going on. And that will be anyone's race with a little bit of draft that you'll pick up in the straight and the dive into the first corner. This is going to be very interesting, and I think Håkon's going to be challenged here as they come up into that first corner now.
Yeah, look, in my experience around here at turn 1, you can get it done on the outside, you can get it done on the inside at turn 1, as long as the guy you're driving with is willing to work with you. Looks like Håkon's let Christian Bug through there, worked with him at least to the point where he knows he's got a few laps to go, as we're already past half race distance, if you can believe it, folks. Håkon looking to fight back at the later stages in the race, Tim.
Oh yeah, and as I said, this is going to be a very interesting train, this one. And if they really work together, they can start moving up towards Christian Bug and Ben Snell, and currently in 6th and 7th. And I think that's what they're trying to do. Håkon was playing the strategic race there. Don't fight with the guy in front of you. Let him go through, and you'll be able to leapfrog him on the next straight.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating to see. Once again, similar to what we saw at Spa, a really deep pack in the later stages of the race, really speaking to the quality of the racing here and the racers here indeed, as we might jump back up the front and see how we're going to find Bill Fraser once again leading this race into turn 1, taking a defensive line, Miko Nassi and Jamie Simone popping in line astern behind them with just the balance of the 13 laps remaining. We're on lap 9, so does it leave us about 4.5 to go, looking like we could be coming right down to the wire, Tim.
Yeah, exactly right. And look, it's a bit of a shock to have such a quick race on a Monday night. And it's a shame it's only 13 laps, because I think this would have made for a very interesting race on a lot of more laps. But the 13 laps doesn't leave much time to make their move. So now's the time to really start thinking about your strategic passes for the remaining laps. So I still think that Bill's comfortably holding on to this with the gap that he's got. I think he can hold on to the straight and not let Miko past.
Yeah, that's exactly right, mate. I'm looking back now. I've been on board with all 3 of these drivers just to show the viewers at home how close this racing is. They are literally line astern. You couldn't fit a car between them, although they're spread out a little bit now. I think, once again, Miko's showing his chops out of that final pairing of right-hand corners there. He's that sweeping right-hander that brings him onto the front straight, which, of course, is the most important corner series on this track, because that's where the passing get done. He pulls a little bit of gap on Jamie Simone, who then uses the draft to get right back in touch, but all the while he's tucked up right under the rear exhaust of Bill Fraser, bringing the action to the viewers at home once again.
Yeah, exactly right. And I'm trying to work out where the passing move's going to be for Miko. The only thing I can think of, he can hug right up on the tailpipe just as they come into the last corner, and hope that he can get the run and the draft as they go across the start-finish. But in this current configuration on this particular track, it's very hard to find a passing move anywhere else on the track other than turn 1, 2 and 3.
Absolutely, Tim. I really want to see this drive once again to demonstrate those final series of corners. You can see Bill and Miko. Now look at him. Miko really thinking about these last 3 laps remaining as they cross the line now, starting to use the draft, really realising that he's got to get a wriggle on. And look at that. Nose in front. What's Bill going to do? Swings out a little bit to the left-hand side of the track to open up the corner as much as he can, while still leaving racing room for Miko Nassi behind him, who's putting all sorts of pressure all over him, Tim.
Exactly right, and that just shows Miko is really trying to get that last corner. As they come out of that last corner, it's the drive that he gets out of there, and if he can sit in the draft, he might be able to get Bill Fraser into turn 1. But Bill showed there that he's quite comfortable at holding that inside line and taking the inside turn quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on board now with Miko Nassi watching, and the word from the chat is Mr. Hendrickson did in fact get a slowdown on that early lap, or lap one, and had to let the whole field pass, which is very disappointing for him. I now notice he's in the pits. Not sure what happened there, but we're staying on board here with the action. Just want to see this run again of Miko Nassi, I should say, as he trails up behind. Look at that, tracking all the way out to the far side of the track now. Holds his line this time. No, he's going to duck in behind to see what he can make of the draft here, although he looked like he was a bit further back now, as they've just got 2 laps remaining, Tim.
Yeah, geez, Miko, he did have a bad run out of that last corner, and there was a bit more of a gap, but it just shows if he tucked in a lot more on the draft along the straight to try and bridge that gap back up into turn 1, and now he's just comfortably sitting there. And it's whether a Jamie Simone is going to make a move on this, or he's just willing to sit back and be happy for third.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Just quickly, we'll duck back to our mid-pack action here, once again led by Hawk and Grebstad, as we see Christian Bug and the 8 car, Johan Larraguarda, Johan, battling it out there for P7 through 9, looking like they're going too wide in places, is Johan and Christian, as they battle out for those positions. That pack looks a bit more spread out now, as we know that it looks like the few have been in the pits. John Scholz, Gustavo Condo are currently in the pits. Tim Hendrickson spent a good 2 minutes there. We missed some of that action while we were watching up front. Hopefully those guys, well, they haven't got much chance to make much of what's left of this race. Might just jump back up the front now as we go down turn 1. It looks like Miko Nassi now making a really strong push to grab the lead of this race. Look, he's got a little netcode contact there. Hopefully there's not too much damage. Miko, beautiful car control to recover from that. It's all going to depend on if he's got any rear suspension damage as they're now racing around on the final lap, Tim.
Oh, jeez, that was unbelievable. You could see Bill just moving across, but Netcode played the better part there. And I thought Bill was just tracking over a little bit too much. But gee, yeah, Netcode, what a shame. It does look like Miko is driving away all right. We'll see as he comes into a couple of these right-hand corners with that rear suspension. It does seem to be all right, but I think he's going to be a little bit down on the speed here now.
Yeah, I'd suggest that it's now Bill Fraser's to win and lose, and it's going to be whether or not Jamie Simone behind him. And look at Enzo Canner in the background, they're hanging on to P4. It's going to be how much control Miko's still got of that car as he comes around the final corners now, looking to make that big run onto the front straight as they go through that final sweeping right-hander now. As we see Bill Fraser coming down towards the finish line now to take out, what's that, his 4th or 5th event this season in Monday Night Lights, Tim, with Miko Nassi and Jamie Simone coming in behind him.
Yeah, that's an impressive drive by Bill Fraser. Miko's just put it into the end wall, I think, with a little bit of frustration there also. But yeah, Bill Fraser, an amazing effort. I'm just having a look now. He's had 1, 2, 3, 5th win of the season, and that is just exceptional driving.
Certainly is, Tim. Very unfortunate. I know in the racing that I've seen of Miko Nassi, he has had some unfortunate luck when it comes to netcode, but certainly quite disappointing for him and for the ultimately the result of the race there tonight. Robbed a little bit of a last lap. So impressed with Miko's run onto that front straight each lap, and he really got the best one of the night coming onto that last lap, the penultimate time across the line. And it looked to me, I'll try and grab a replay shortly, that he almost got a full car length in front, and then in coming across trying to open up the corner, Bill Fraser, who never genuinely made contact with him, unfortunately just got a netcode and clipped his rear wheel. But having said that, folks, that's internet racing for you, and still, certainly, I'm sure Miko, whilst he didn't take out the win tonight, was pretty pleased with how things went overall, no doubt. Now, folks, just taking a quick look at the race results for round 10 here from Circuit Park Zandvoort. We have Bill Fraser once again putting on an amazing performance here in his maiden season of Monday Night Lights to take out a very exciting, if shortened, race around Zandvoort here tonight. P2, the great Miko Nassi putting on another fine display of expert driving in the Skip Barbers. P3, Jamie Simone, who caught me by surprise but with his pace here, but certainly just showed why why he was up the front and put on a really good driving display, it has to be said. A welcome return to Enzo Cantor, who hung on for P4 and sort of drove a bit of a lonely race after the early start by the looks, and consequently we didn't see much of him on screen. Sasha Berger in P5 up 4 positions and did fantastically well in doing so to finish in the top 5. Ben Snell, after that unfortunate incident with Timu, drove pretty well from there and up 1 spot in P6. Håkon Grebstad, who has struggled a bit here for pace based on the Super Skips run he had last night, doing well and doing his championship no harm in P7. Christian Bug, first night here as far as I'm aware in Monday Night Lights for Christian Bug, a solid top 10 performance in P8. Similarly for Johan in P9. Tom Barry becoming somewhat of a regular, managing to round out the top 10. Moving on to the second page now, Kevin Henderson into P11, grabbing some much needed Monday Night Lights points. Of course, we score all the way down to P12, which is where we find Team Milo racer Russell Clark up 4 positions, similarly to Kevin Henderson in P12 and in the points. P13 went to Andreas Fury. Apologies, Andreas, who's finished in 13th tonight. P14, Tim Hendrickson, after copping an unfortunate cut track penalty on the first lap, letting all the field by and then having to make a pit stop, finishing 1 lap down, as was Gustavo Conde in P15. John Scholz in P16 similarly had a trip to the pits, and of course we saw our other retirement for the evening, Timo Vascalampi. What happened to him in another unfortunate outing for him in Monday Night Lights, Tim?
Yeah, what an exciting race, and it was a good result from all. And yeah, it's quite a good to see some of our fastest skippy drivers out there tonight, and especially having Miko Nassi back and Enzo Cantor back. It's really good to see those guys out there. But what a fantastic racing event! As I said, it's a shame it was only 13 laps, because I thought that could have gone easily another 5 or 6 and been a really, really good race.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, mate. I loved every minute of it. Fantastic field, strongest field of the week. The drivers putting on some really good, a really good display of technical skill at what is a difficult track to manoeuvre around. Very tight, twisty, technical. Only a couple of places to overtake, and there's action all over the place, and it really was a very impressive performance by all. Now, we have a couple of drivers waiting to be interviewed here. We'll go, as has become the tradition here, in finishing order. Tonight we'll start with Mr. Enzo Cantor. Enzo Cantor. Good evening, Alex McKellar and Tim Wheeler here in the RRTV commentary booth, mate. Welcome back to Monday Night Lights. Great to see you out there once again, mate. How was the racing on track?
Hi guys. Well, I was far away for work, so I had to miss this league this season, but I wanted to do a present for you in the last race. So I hope to be here the next week too, but I'm not sure. Well, today I completely missed the second qualifying lap with an off track. So, in this track, if you start in 6th, it's not very good. It's not optimal at all. I was hoping, I was wishing in a crash in front of me, but nothing, because Bill, Miko, and Jaime were too smart to crash each other and to lose too much time battling each other. So when Tim Hendrickson took a slowdown, we lost a bit of gap. Timo was slower than me. We lost the train, and for me it was impossible to reduce the gap, because I had almost the same pace as Bill, Miko, and Jaime, but they were not losing time at all, battling each other. So very smart race from them. Congratulations to the podium, and nothing to do for me. I was in a no man's land, and it was a boring race.
Yeah, mate, I called that during at the end there, where we were looking through the race there. Unfortunately, yeah, you were caught a bit in no man's land, but yeah, and there was plenty of smart racing up the front, mate. So, look, we had a lot of fun calling it tonight, mate. It was great to see you back on track there, mate. As you say, you're going to be back a little bit more often. Is the little brother treating you well?
My little brother is improving. Perhaps I found the right way to talk with him. I changed a little bit my brake bias, and I feel a little more confident than before. But I'm not in that magic moment that you know very well. But I'm satisfied because I'm always fast enough to be with the fastest guys. So I'm not the fastest one, but I'm satisfied.
Yeah, that's great, mate. Well, thank you once again for joining us here tonight. Congratulations on P4. And before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, surely I have to say thanks, as always, to my team manager Fabio Mantellini, my team of Mivano, my sponsor Starsmaster Cube, and my new teammate Fahim Antonio Des, because finally I'm not alone in this team after 3 or 4 years being alone in the Ski Barber League. Now I have a teammate, and the important thing is that I am faster than him. So hi Fahim, I'm sorry, but you are slower.
Look, that's a great pickup. Fahim's a great guy and a great racer, and certainly great to have that cross garage rivalry going, mate. So, all the best for the rest of the season, mate. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. See you soon, guys.
There you have it, Tim. Enzo Canto, always good for a bit of colour, right?
Oh, definitely. He's always good.
Very good. All right. Our next driver up tonight is Mr. Ben Snell. Mr. Ben Snell, welcome to the RRTV commentary booth, mate. Perhaps tonight didn't go quite as you would have expected, but P6, nothing to sneeze at in the strongest field of the week, mate.
Yeah, good evening, fellas. I did the same thing as Enzo and botched my second lap. I got to slow down through the chicane. So starting mid-pack here is crazy.
Yeah, mate, but I've got to tell you, some of the mid-pack racing, I mean, you had an unfortunate incident with Timu, of course, which, saw an end to his night, but some of the mid-pack racing looked pretty strong, pretty controlled at the same time, and very good. But run us a bit through that incident with Timu.
So Timo and Enzo, I think, went side by side through turn one. And I backed out to let Timu back in, but I think he took a little bit of a tighter line through turn 3 or 4, whatever that right-hander is. And I think he grabbed a bit of curb, spat it sideways, and by the time I realised he wasn't going to catch it on throttle and he was going to hit the brakes, I was pretty much at his gearbox. So, yeah, when he hit the brakes, I just turned him around, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate part of such close racing. The margins for error are so slim, and as are the reaction times when someone ends up in a slightly unfortunate position. And yeah, I know Timo's a great driver, a great spirited bloke when he races, and he certainly won't hold too much against you, mate. It's just one of those things. But other than that, mate, the driving out there was a bit of fun by the looks. You found it enjoyable, I trust.
Yeah, I'm loving this track. I'm disappointed I didn't buy it for last season. Yeah. So it's been a hoot. I really enjoy just the elevation change and stuff like that. It's a nice change from going around draft tracks everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Although it's tough to get away, the draft is just enough to keep people in with a sniff if they can manage to hang on through the technical bits. But certainly, I agree, a lot of fun. It's a shame that iRacing didn't put on the number of laps we would have enjoyed. It's about almost half race distance to what you would expect, a little over in these races, and they're all too brief, mate. But before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to this week?
Just the usual. Thanks to you guys for putting it on. You're getting better every week, and thanks to the guys at Team Potato.
Beautiful. Thanks, Ben. We look forward to seeing your action in the future.
See you guys.
There you have it, Tim. Mr. Ben Snell in that, that helmet of his is quite something to behold with the skull on it. Certainly bringing a bit of colour to the track. But our early season, Monday Night Lights season leader, now perhaps dropping down the order a bit.
Yeah, it's such a shame to see the bit of a dive down there by Ben. But look, it's it's still gonna be a very open race. The title for the MNL. I think Bill's probably just driven away with it now. So now we're probably going to be looking at second and third as we move on. And some of these top guys, I did see some results from the second split. Some of these guys are going to move up the ladder tonight and really start pushing for the third and fourth positions.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I've got the results in front of me for the second split. Great to see Daryl Ridley, who was unfortunate not to make the top split tonight. We've seen him a few times, and as I always say, he's got brilliant pace. He just needs to stay on the track a bit more, and he will rise through the ranks commensurate with that pace. He took out the second split with one of our front runners from the second split, who's currently sitting in P7 prior tonight, Simon Dopp in P3. Ben Seidel, who has had a couple of runs in the top split this season after making a welcome return to the series, down in P5. Gary Cousins, always a pleasure to race with. He was in P4. Just looking for some other Monday night's regulars. Mark Jeffrey in the points in P11. Simon Chambers rounding out the points in P12. Some of the other front runners in Brad Parkin finished outside the points in P13, as did Jason Willman in 15th, and Les Peck, our current podium sitter, all the way down in P16. An unfortunate night out at the races for Les, who was almost a lap down, which suggests he probably had a trip to the pits, Tim, which is not how your fellow Team Venom racer would have expected or hoped the night to go.
No, I think I'm hearing some word around. There's a little bit of a shock. There was might have been a punt to pass or some manoeuvres like that. So not too good. But look, Les just needs to relax there. He's got to drop round. He's raced all bar Lime Rock, or hasn't been in the points in Lime Rock. So he's still got. He can afford to have a 0 point and still do well for the drop rounds. So he's still in it.
Beautiful. Love to see the second split representation, particularly so far up the order. It's a pleasure to see. Now, folks, we're coming to the close of what is a shortened Monday Night Lights experience this week. Coming up this week on RRTV, you will find on the 23rd, which is Wednesday, we've got the Australian Speedway Championships coming to you from Limaland. All your dirt action covered there. I think it's a quiet week, judging by the events I've got in front of me. It might be all the way until next Monday night is all that I can see scheduled on the RRTV books, although they usually have a bit of stuff in between. Perhaps Bernie, who so graciously filled in for us last week. Thank you once again to Bernie and Tim for last week's broadcast. Might be a little bit shy of events this week, but hopefully we see him more on the track as a result. But in the upcoming week for you, Tim, are we going to see the Golden Stig on track?
Yes, you will. You'll see the Golden Stig on Friday night for FNRC. I'm looking forward to 5 hours of fabulous fun on Friday night, and then we'll be back for the Bathurst on Saturday night. Bathurst on Sunday for the crazy bonanza out there with the GRC cars and the mandatory jump, and then back to here on Monday Night Light.
Beautiful. And where can they see you? Over on Twitch, of course, at Robius. Is it _TV or Robius TV?
_TV, Robius _TV.
Perfect. And similar to Tim, I will be over on the Top Split TV channel as we jump back to live pictures apparently at Twitch /TopSplit TV. Similarly to Tim, might try and grab a couple of official races this week, and then of course the Friday night race club action with on Friday night, with the pinnacle being the HPDs this week, 32 laps around Bathurst. A ton of fun to look forward there. And of course you can always head over to thetopsplit.com where you'll find the Top Split podcast and all the back catalogue of episodes there, Tim. But that, folks, after an outstanding race tonight, a lot of fun, great names, and the top strength of field of the week. Fantastic. Thank you to all the drivers once again for supporting the series. Thank you to all those in chat who keep us coming back week after week to try and make things better and more enjoyable and put on a fantastic show. Really support the community here that is this ANZ Skip Barber community, and we do appreciate each and every one of you turning up each week and participating not only on the track but in the chat and supporting the channel more broadly. But until next week, folks, on behalf of my co-commentator here tonight, Tim Awima, I've been your host, Alex McKellar. I'll get it right. eventually. And until next time, we will say ciao for now.